So the first lecture I want to give you guys is a lecture on game PR and marketing 101. So the basics of game PR and marketing. AKA, I don't want to do that stuff because I prefer working on my game instead. Now, who agrees with that last sentence? Just raise your hand, please. Okay, that's exactly why I'm here. So what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about quickly, just couple of 5 seconds about who I am, so you understand where this is coming from. Then I'm going to give you guys a PR and marketing crash course. I'm going to give you some handy tips and tricks. We'll go on to the summary, and you guys can ask questions if we have the time. So who am I? My name's Vlad Miku. I'm a former game journalist. I used to do game journalism for 4 years. I worked my way up from bluffing that I used to work for an important website. I used to be a European editor for Game Sales magazine. Sadly, I'm no longer. That initiative sadly went down. Where I used to interview a lot of developers. My focus has always been to understand and ask questions to developers and see what drives them and motivates them in their daily lives. And I really tried to put the picture of the people in front of their companies and not the other way around, as we see at big game conventions where you get to meet one producer who represents an army of 200 developers. I used to write for another collection of outlets, international outlets, mostly Dutch outlets where I reside, though I've grown to hate writing in Dutch, so I'm starting to attract more outlets from outside. And, you know, since April 3rd, I actually started working with 2 of your fellow students on a game called Snobbery Run because I believed in it and I saw a great opportunity for a product to rise to stardom. And this slide shares design is inspired by a big inspiration of mine, Brandon Boyer. He's currently the chairman of the IGF. You might have heard of him before. Brandon, this is for you. So what is game marketing? Well, I think the first thing we all think about when we talk about game marketing is the usual suspects. You know, the pre-orders, the booth babes at events, you know, the special launch events that occur, you know, at specific major cities, the special edition boxes, you know, Kane and Lynch covering an entire website. But that's all bullshit. That's all big budget marketing. It's not something that you and I could do at all right now. It's you know, based on very traditional concepts of how you can reach most people. That's not what we're in this business for. Am I right? Yes, I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding. So let's start from the beginning. What's marketing? Well, the basics of marketing right now, I could say, can be reduced to 4 P's. Product, price, place, and promotion. As simple as that. So why do you need those things? Why do you need to, you know, understand the concept of marketing? Because we're dealing with a lot of competition nowadays. You guys are one of many schools who are pumping out talented game developers, programmers, and artists each year around the world. Just imagine how many people are being pumped out in the industry in China right now. So let's take a lesson from Tim O'Reilly, which you might know is a famous guy in the whole social media circuit. Who says obscurity is a greater threat than piracy. And I agree with him. Ninjas do kick pirates' ass. It's a fact. So why do you need it even more? Because you are in a sea, a universe, a galaxy of games. And getting that attention that your game deserves is literally galactically small without any effort. You will need it forever. Why will you need it forever? Because every time a new platform arrives, people will follow, jump on it, right? Dive into it together with you. So let's just look at these numbers for a sec. I don't know. I can't name like 100 of games that are all on these platforms, and I don't think you do too. Now, just for a sec, the numbers on the iPhone and iPad are just the numbers of games that actually got attention from Pocket Gamer, which is one of the biggest websites on mobile gaming. So screw the rest, because most of them are just experiments by your fellow students that just were dumped on the iPad or, you know, on the App Store and never looked at by more than 10 to 20 people. So the obvious chores that lie ahead of you, of course, the first things you think about when you see me standing here and you think, oh, maybe I should do something, is, you know, building a website, writing blog posts on it, joining communities, posting there, you know, showing interest into other projects, posting, spamming people about yours. Making a Facebook page and wait for the people to like it. Twitter account and troll people about how much you like them, and comment on what they do, and basically annoy your friends to check out your game. Who has done that? Yeah, raise your hands, don't be shy. So yeah, I was supposed to have an interesting quote here, but I guess it's just common sense that these are the obvious chores that everyone actually does not like to do, including me. So I'm going to give you a couple of easy steps, the most important thing is those steps are that you are your game. I've never met a person before that I've gotten to know and gotten to like without realizing that a big part of his or her personality was put into their games eventually, and really reflected what kind of state of life they were in. So you can imagine the guys from who did God, what was that? Limbo. I don't think those guys were in a very, very sunny position when they made that game. Step one. PR is not marketing. It's not the same thing. When I'm saying marketing, I bet that 99% of you guys are thinking, oh, banners and ads and booth babes, and just like I said at the start of the thing. No, PR is something different. PR is who you are and who you want to represent towards other people. One of the things I would do if I were you and you had a great game is not promote your game, but make sure that because you have this drive inside you, you go out there and you show yourself, and you show your interests, and you show your beliefs, and your inspirations, and whatever not. Talk to websites, talk to blogs, participate in them. Do interviews if you do get attention. Don't say no to them. Do them because they force you to reflect on who you are, what you want, and what your game stands for. Participate in communities, as I just said. There's nothing more valuable than a peer commenting on your game. How many people are actually in independent game development communities? Raise your hand. That's not enough. Who knows Tixors? Raise your hand. That's still not enough. Join podcasts and contribute. If you know a friend who writes about games, help them out. You're the expert. They just write about them. They play them, you make them. And don't spend money. Don't think that PR and marketing involves money. It involves you engaging with others. But remember, while you're doing this, stay true to yourself, stay true to your beliefs. This is one of my inspirations from the marketing department at Bethesda. He actually founded it when he was just one man, Pete Hines. He says, I have a personal philosophy to PR. I really try to do things that stay true to the development of the game. I really am not a big fan of the cheesy and of beating my own chest or telling everybody how great we think we are. I'm a believer in walk softly and carry a big stick. And I haven't heard such a good advice from a AAA marketing person that reflects what you all should do. But also, learn when some things go wrong, learn how to spin them, learn how to work around them. And, I've seen for a fact that every time I've covered or read different game blogs, that screw-ups actually double your press attention. This is a very important lesson here that I've learned from fellow indies. Piracy always is a nice issue. If you comment on piracy, you actually get a lot of attention. And of course a Linux port. I mean, come on. Linux port, just do it. Just do a Mac port, do a Linux port. As John Graham from Warfire says, he's also an inspiration to me if it comes to community, regulating your community. If you support Mac and Linux as an independent developer, you have a good chance of doubling your revenue, and that's a fact. That's why he said it, because he did it with the Humble Indie Bundle. Create assets. I mean, everyone can know your name, can know your game's name, and can know what it's about. But if they don't see what it's about, if they can't see it in one picture, they will never talk about it. Now, make a defined art account if you have an artist, and make sure that he posts all his concept art there too. Maybe he's a perfectionist, maybe he doesn't like showing you what he did in 15 minutes. I've been there. Just motivate him to do so, because there is, art is never finished, even if it's a concept. Just put it online and see what people think. They might just love it. And post gameplay videos, post prototypes, share your progress with people. People like progress. People like people who are growing. Make a couple of nice screenshots, polish them up, and just one can do magic. That's actually a screenshot from Flumbeer, the guys who did Super Crate Box. They're good friends of mine, and they just released one screenshot about a collaboration that they're having with the creators of Serious Sam. Serious Sam has about a couple of indie game studios that are making small games to promote their new Serious Sam game. They released one screenshot. It's everywhere. That one screenshot is everywhere. Once again, join and participate in communities. Make friends. Make lots of them. I mean, you have 70 people here that can be your potential champions and friends and supporters. But imagine if you post an interesting game on a website that has over tens of thousands of independent game developers with the same interests as you have. Imagine how much feedback and support you're going to get if they actually like your game, and if you can connect with them. You know, ask them questions too. I mean, find help if you have a problem. For God's sakes, don't limit yourself to your local environment. There might just be a guy in China who just had the same problem as you had a week ago and found the solution and is willing to share it with you. And of course, support others in their work too. There are tons of people that might have the problems you solved a week ago, as I just said. Make sure you find them and you help them. Because it's going to be a little effort for you, but there's someone who's going to owe you big time in the future. Understand how press works. These are the communities that I told you guys about. These are the communities you should be on, you should be reading, you should be seeing what everyone else is doing, and if they're making the same games as you are, so you can change your concept and you don't end up being accused of cloning them or something. These guys are being read by the mainstream game press. The game press follows what is popular, what gets attention, and then writes about it. And suddenly, when all that game press is writing about you, bam, the mainstream comes in and starts asking you questions. And you know what the funny thing is? The mainstream is more interested in you as a personality, because suddenly here's this game developer out of nowhere making this brilliant game that's been played by hundreds of thousands of people. Where does he come from? What motivates him? And of course, suddenly you're faced with that interview that pushes you to reflect on all those thoughts and things that you stand for. Any attention is awesome. Do not deflect attention. You know, Andrew Garrison's article that I read a while ago basically told about how he made a couple of simple iOS games. And he updated those games when he released a new game, Simple Physics, to basically invite his older customers to try out his new game. They only had to fill out their email. He made a huge mail list of 30,000 people and was able to land #1 spot on the App Store the first day his game released, because there were already 30,000 people knowing about it. But don't force it. Don't force your luck. I mean, people get attention and sometimes it corrupts them. They start getting an ego, they start acting like the douches, and you don't want that. Don't be like that. Don't act desperate either, and don't force attention upon yourself. You know, if you do it right, people will be able to find you in Google. They will like you. You will get fan art, likes, followers, retweeting, more followers, and lots of viral marketing treats that are caused by that, by your community and everything. And, you know, follow that. Follow those metrics, numbers, feedbacks, because they show how many people actually like you and are interested in your game and might even buy it. And trust me, if you know 10,000 people are going to buy your game, you know you want to finish it, because there's money involved and there's success, fame, and good credentials on your resume. Promote your game, but make it look like you're not trying. Kyle Gable from 2D-Boy. Why does he say that? Because we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be posers. We don't want to be those big suited types from big publishers that, you know, throw millions of dollars anywhere. But you got to remember, you have a message, and it needs to be heard by other people. Okay, why wouldn't you need PR marketing? Why wouldn't you have any $1 to spare, any second to spare on this? Okay, maybe because it takes away time from your development process? I'm sorry guys, that's bullshit. I don't agree with that. And if you want to get your game out there and shared and liked by people, you got to stop thinking that. Your daddy might own Activision. Okay, that's a good excuse right there. All right, cool. Or you might have found the magic formula to turn, you know, code into gold. I mean, that would be awesome. You know, or the press adores you for, you know, the fact who you are and already went through your garbage. But if your game is so awesome nobody will ignore it, well, that means there's a lot of luck involved. And, you know, build it and they will come, maybe, if you're Minecraft. Some handy tricks. And let me just retort on that. Everyone can be a Minecraft. It depends on you and your message. Number 1. SEO. Who has used SEO until now? One person. How did you use it?
Well, I had a
He had a job with it. Okay. Search engine optimization. Who has Googled themselves at least once in their lifetime? Who found important information about themselves when they Googled? Why do you think you're not raising your hand right now? You never optimize your search result. You never optimize your presence on the internet. You just Google this, and you'll find enough articles on how to do this. I'm not going to go into this because I can write a book about it. Add and tag the pictures that you want to be found. If you type in Vlad Miku, if you type in my name, you might have seen that SEO is something I stumbled upon quite a long time ago. And I invite you guys to do the same thing, because you got to be findable. Tag yourself, but come up with a unique name for your game. Make sure nobody else has it. Make a domain that reflects that, that's easily found. Embrace Google. Embrace Google. Embrace their analytics system. Embrace their page rank so you can follow how many people mention you. And start promoting yourself as soon as possible. You are your game. You are what your game is going to be. So you are just as important as that game. Don't push yourself back. Start using social media. Oh, I hate social media. I hate Twittering. I had a Twitter account since 2008 when it was just like a couple of 10,000 people. I didn't do nothing with it because I was like, why should I? And now everyone is using it, and I actually discovered it actually is a fun thing to use, especially if I communicate with my fellow game developers, and when they post something, I can support them in retweeting their message to my followers. Make yourself findable, please. So, just a quick example. We had a discussion with Snobly Run. The name was, invented in 48 hours. Should we change it? Should we not change it? Should it be Snobly or Snobly with a Y? And I'm glad we decided to stay with Snobly, the original. Why? Because the only competitor we have, and I'm going to bleep that out, is a girl who made a MySpace page called Monica Snobly. I mean, you can't have better Google search results than that. One person with an ugly MySpace page. Monica Snobly is going to disappear down very soon. But please, don't forget social media. Once again, you can actually build your company with social media, like the graph is showing. And remember, when you use social media, it's not about yourself. There's a couple of scientific papers or research done on the fact that women actually blog more about others than themselves, and we men tend to be a bit too more egotistical and tell everyone when we went to the bathroom and what we ate for breakfast. But do write about others. That's why social media exists. So you can show your support to others, and they can support you when you need it.